Oh, Vengeance on Varos. How did I forget this story? Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. First of all, before I say anything else, I want to wish a very happy birthday to 4th Doctor Tom Baker. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Now, Vengeance on Varos. I said yesterday that I'd completely forgotten what it was, and I don't know how on earth I did. Vengeance on Varos is easily my favorite 6th Doctor story. And of course, infamously, Vengeance on Varos features Syl. Yeah, that guy. Syl. He is the big bad in the story, the monster behind the governor of a mining planet, formerly a prison planet, that produces, not coincidentally, exactly the material that the Doctor needs in order to repair the TARDIS that has completely run out of fuel, somehow. Anyway, this story is very much a dystopian, bread and circuses, 1984 kind of story. The entire concept is that the planet is run by the descendants of the prison guards, and all of the work is done by the descendants of the prisoners. They mine endlessly and sell their product to off-world buyers. And the only form of entertainment for the people is watching the executions of rebels and political prisoners. It's basically reality television more than a decade before reality television actually happened. The advent of Big Brother and Survivor, that happened in the late 90s, I vividly remember. But in popular culture of the time, this story is most reminiscent of The Running Man, Stephen King's dystopian novel published under his pseudonym Richard Bachman, which was only outed as being a Stephen King pseudonym a year before this story was produced. And less than 2 years later, it would be adapted into a movie. Although, as is often the case, in my opinion, the movie is nowhere near as good as the book, and misses a lot of the nuances in the book that are present here in this story. Now, I don't know that this story was directly influenced by The Running Man. It seems unlikely, and it's not like that was the first story to use the trope, but it seems very clear that in the mid-80s, this concept was very, very much in the zeitgeist. And having lived through it myself as a teenager, I can confirm that that was very much the case, at least in America. And I can only imagine what it was like in the UK. The entire year previous was dominated by 1984, and there was a new movie adaptation of Orwell's book that came out the year before. Of course there was. And just the entire general psyche of the population. This was the height of the Reagan-Thatcher years, and mass consumerism, and government deregulation. And one could argue it was a huge pop culture goldmine. Certainly my generation believes it was, and it's hard to argue with the decade that brought us Raiders of the Lost Ark and Empire Strikes Back and The Karate Kid. And of course, being a child of the 80s, I'm here to tell you that the music for the 80s was better than anything that has ever been produced since. But in any case, Vengeance on Varos focuses in and captures the moment in pop culture perfectly. And everyone in it is spectacularly good, even Syl. Yeah, I mentioned you. As for the main cast, Colin Baker continues to improve as the Doctor is much less unlikable, although still generally unlikable. And as for Peri, the most I can say is she changes from a skin-tight pink shirt in the previous story into a skin-tight blue shirt in this story. Yes, Syl, indeed. Very much indeed. Tomorrow I finish the second half of Vengeance on Varos, in which Peri turns into a bird person, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'll see you then.